Hi guys, Tom Morrison here, and welcome to the fourth part of our complete guide to shoulder training series. If you've not seen parts 1, 2, and 3, then please go back and watch those ones and like, share, and subscribe and all that stuff. If you have, and you're ready for the last one, then let's get stuck in. So come with me again, we'll go right back to where we started. Bum, 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 bum. Bum, 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 bum. So, we had our little circle with our shoulder idea of wanting our joint centering. And then first video we covered up, which was our presses and pulls this way. The second one was this way and this way, which was our pressing and pulling forwards and backwards. And the last one in the third video was our downwards press and pull as well. So that's all four of the directions covered. What are we left with? This. The circle! Rotation. That is where all the magic comes from that puts everything together, and it's one of the biggest ones that everybody seems to miss because everyone gets so caught up with having to get their bench press better and their strict press better and stuff like that there. So you've only got this forward motion and then this upwards motion, but what about this bit in the middle? And that's why people's shoulders start to get really messed up because they're missing out all that strength in all those ranges. So remember, your shoulder can do this all the way up and down and around in all different planes. So if you never, ever, 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 ever explore that, then you're going to end up with weaknesses here, there, and everywhere. So what we're going to work on first is stuff you can do at home with no equipment, and then we'll throw a few things of equipment at you as well. The very first thing that I want you to try is to go like this. Pull your fingertips back as much as you can, okay? So don't be like this. Pull your fingertips back as much as you can so your hands are like this. And then, keeping your arms straight, I want you to do big circles with your shoulders, keeping your arms locked out. You should feel a wee wave sort of go through your fingertips. Keep working on that, like that, okay? So what you don't want is your elbows to start doing the work for you, okay? You're not gonna feel anything from that. You wanna have the elbows locked out and then do those circles. So it's really, really good to teach yourself how to disassociate things from things. So if you are deadlifting and you pull with your arms a wee bit, you're gonna put a lot of strain on smaller muscles whenever you should be locking everything down and having the arms actually loose. So exercises like this really help to teach you things like that. So what you're going to do is make that even better. You're going to go on all fours like this, and then big circles. Take your hair out of your mouth. Big circles like that, okay? And again, what you'll probably find if you've never tried this before, and do both directions, what you'll probably find is your elbows will start doing it for you. You'll be trying to do all crazy stuff like this, or you'll just move your head and it won't feel right. Your shoulder can move a lot more than you think it can, and trying to get that strengthened in different positions is really, really important so that you have smarter shoulders that can figure themselves out better, okay? So around again in big, big, big circles in both directions. And you'll notice that I'm changing the direction of my hands as well, which just puts the humerus in little different positions. So anytime you change something down here, up here will change as well. So very important to do those different things. And as well, if we want to throw some wrists into this, then you can do your circles with your wrists in these positions as well. If you've never stretched your wrists like this, be really, really gentle with it. But if you think about how your elbow feels, if you only ever do everything like this, then you're lengthening here, shortening here, and then that is going to annoy the elbow, okay? So you want to make sure that you have both directions covered so that you're even on both sides. Especially if you do a lot of grip training, it's a very, very good idea to stretch your wrists before and after the session to keep the muscles from getting too tight on the one side, which is the whole idea of the simplistic mobility method, to keep that balance so that everything works together really, really well. So big ass circles is what you're going to be doing. Like that. Now, if you're just warming up, you can just do a couple. If you have long-term issues with your shoulders, then you can't do enough of this. If it's not sore, then bang it on, okay? The best thing about building a shoulder program for yourself is to find the exercises that do not hurt and do as much of them as you can to add strength in them. And the more you do that, the more you will probably find over time that you can add to it and start to load up on different movements. The more you can teach your shoulders to move in different ways, the stronger they're going to become and the more stable they're going to become as well, which will eliminate the need for any like random aches and pains and stuff like that. So something I went through with my shoulder for a long time, and I just thought I have a bad shoulder, and that's what I wrote it off as for a long time, like years. And then I finally discovered all this stuff, and I was like, oh, I just wasn't doing good enough training. So shoulder rotations, start with this, get down on all fours and start to get as much rotation into the shoulders as you can without bringing the elbows into it, okay? So if you've never tried it before, like I said, set up a camera and see what you're doing for yourself. Next thing I'm going to go on to is bands. Get a band. They are next to nothing cost-wise, and you know what? Even if you go cheap, they'll break over time, but they're so cheap that it won't matter. You can just get some more. They'll last for a long time, but they will start to just deteriorate over time the more that you tug at them. You can buy more higher quality ones, will last you longer, but you know what I mean? It's just for home. Get a band. They're so versatile. There's so many things you can do with them. What we're going to work with though is our shoulder dislocate for rotation. So from here, go around and bring it back down, okay? Always have a little bit of tension on the band. If it's not enough, then you just grab in a wee bit more and pull apart, which makes it a wee bit harder. If it's too much, then you just grab out further, and that makes it easier. You can't do enough of these guys, just do as many as you can, and you can also change the angles as well, so you're going like this or like this, okay? So there's no right or wrong with it, just if you pick a direction to do, focus on it and do at least 10 of them in that direction. Now, it's very important for you to do this exercise with a stick as well. You don't need to get a stick for home, but if there's a stick at your gym or even use a brush shaft, something like that, it's very important to check, because if you wait there, and a stick, I'm coming. So one thing you won't notice with the band is if one of your shoulders is doing something funky compared to the other one. So with the stick, whenever you're going, you can quite clearly see both shoulders going at the same time. But if you were to notice with the stick that you were going like this and one of your elbows was having to bend a little bit, then you could maybe find out, oh, either one shoulder's too mobile, the other one's too stiff, or one's having problems, or something like that. So it's very important to check this exercise with a stick first, to make sure your shoulders are both on the same page. You'll notice very quickly with the stick, as you gradually start to move your hands in, that something doesn't feel right, okay? And by moving your hands in, I literally mean over like a week at a time, that much, okay? Move them in ever so slightly. You don't want to push this too fast, or you will actually make your shoulders too loose, okay? So find where you get a nice stretch and sticking point and start to increase your range of motion like that. And then, after using your stick, grab your band and go around and add that bit of muscle tension into it as well, okay? So they are shoulder dislocates. Can't be any more simple than that. Use a band, rotate around, and you can do it with your hands either down like this, or you can go with the palms up as well, okay? So put the palms up and do the same sort of thing, and just see what those positions feel like, okay? So again, if you are having shoulder problems and this doesn't hurt your shoulders, then awesome, keep going and try and find an exercise that would aggravate your shoulders a little bit. So say you felt something funky when you were doing push-ups and you were like, feels a bit weak. Try some of these if they're not sore, and try your push-ups again afterwards and see is there any improvement. If not, then you know you need to rest, or even if you have not been to see someone, go and see someone, okay? But if you've been dealing with things like this for a long time, then this is a great thing to start to add into your training. And last thing we're going to go for is an awesome exercise, which is called the Turkish get-up. Kettlebells are awesome. You should have them. What you're going to do for Turkish get-up, I like to start from the top whenever I'm doing them. So what you're going to do is get your kettlebell up above your head, swing it in. You can go straight up, kettlebell snatch style, or if you wanted to, what else you could do would just be go from the floor, clean it up like this. Make sure your wrist is neutral. So you want your wrist to be like this, not like this, okay? So keep that like that, and then you can press it above the head. So you want to have everything locked out and in a nice straight line here. Look up at the kettlebell. So your neck should never be involved whenever you're pressing, so you can have that freedom to look up whenever you're here, okay? Then from there, opposite leg lunges back like this. So lunge back, keep looking up, and then you're going to brush your hand down your leg to find the floor and give yourself enough space. Sitting back, nice tall posture. So now you're getting that rotation through your shoulder. Then from there, you're going to get the leg out of the way so you can bring your back leg through. Press into the floor as much as you can so that you have a big chest and there's a nice T shape going on. So you should see a nice straight line from the kettlebell down through my hand, okay? So everything's supported in the right way. Then from there, you're going to bring the back leg through to this position here. Everything should still be stable. You should be able to focus on holding this position. Neck again should be nice and relaxed. Then sit your bum down to the floor. Then you're going to find your elbow on the floor, and then you're going to find the floor on the floor, okay? So this would be your start position if you started from the ground. If you wanted to stop here, you can just bring the kettlebell down and rest, okay? And then you just roll over to the side and set it down. If you wanted to set up from the floor, you can roll from here, and then you can use the other hand, remember to keep your wrist like this, to press it up like that, okay? Then hand on the floor. So whatever knee is up, the kettlebell should be in that same hand. You can do this with a dumbbell as well, if you don't have kettlebells, but you know, I like kettlebells. From here, you then roll up, and a big major point of this, guys, is for this not to happen with the other leg. The other leg should stay on the ground unless you're going ridiculously heavy. You'll probably find that your form breaks down. So from here, roll up, then tall chest, find the hand. You can adjust as you need to, press down as hard as you can, bridge up, then bring the leg back through, sit yourself up. Now from here, you can either twist the back knee to bring it around. Something I prefer to do is bring the front leg around to this position here and then just stand up in a lunge like that. Okay, so that's the Turkish get up. Make sure that you take your time with it. Go nice and light with it at the start till you get the hang of the movement. Then you want to start to push a little bit. So whenever you're confident of doing one weight for like 10 reps up and down, then try a bit heavier, see what you can do, and then you can start to get a bit more ridiculous with it, because obviously, some people just find it very boring. Personally, I do as well, but there are tons of benefits to it, so I do really love the exercise, but I like to try a barbell, try, you know, dumbbells in weird positions, hold a plate on the wrong end, do things that make my core really have to focus and work, that I find more challenging. So one of the better things you can try and do, first off, is try for the bottom up position. So here, like this, press up, hold that position, and then try and do the same thing. So instantly the kettlebell is a bit more unstable, so I have to work that bit harder to do the movement. So then you've got your lunge back, rotate, so there, chop would have been handy, and then bring through. So even there, because I'm thinking on doing something else and focusing on talking, I forgot to move my leg out, okay? So, focus on what you're doing, try not to talk while doing it. Focus on your breathing would be one of the main things, okay? So take your time, pause in each position, check you're still breathing in the right way and you're not holding your breath, because whenever you're training to move well, you want to train to be as relaxed as possible with the correct amount of tension, okay? That'll stop you getting tired so quickly. So that is our exercises. One final bonus one, so the nice benefits about that, like I said, is the rotation you're getting through pressing. One final bonus one is just press down and walk yourself around a circle, like that. It's like really bad break dancing, but again, lots of different angles on the shoulder, and again, that's another one you throw into home. So, yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video series. If you'd like to see more like this, leave me a comment of a suggestion of something you'd like to see, and I'll try and get on it. And yeah, like, share, subscribe, watch all the videos again, implement all the exercises, and have awesome, healthy, strong shoulders.